Good afternoon. On behalf of Paratisol, I would like to welcome you to this presentation. My name is Elena Núñez, and I'm going to be sharing the achievements and challenges in the official curriculum in my country, Paraguay. I will start by sharing with you some of the strengths and weaknesses in the Paraguayan curriculum. English as a foreign language has been part of the official curriculum for the public sector for over 20 years, but only for grades 10, 11, and 12, which comprise the last 3 years of secondary education, also known in Spanish as nivel medio. Since 2016, with the approval of Law 5031, English as a foreign language is included in the official curriculum. This law was accepted and passed in the year 2013, and it was decided that English was going to be part of the official curriculum for the public sector, and it was going to be implemented gradually, year by year. This law, 5031, gave Ministerio de Educación 3 years to organize the implementation of this new curriculum. This was an unprecedented move and a very important one for the country. From that moment on, specialists gathered together to write and establish the scope and sequence that each of these grades were going to have. They, in a way, once you analyze all of these curriculums, people can see that they range from pre-A1 to an A2. Something that is very interesting to see and analyze is that all 4 language skills are included in all of the curriculums, the ones that range from grade 1 until grade 12. However, the kindergarten curriculum is different in its approach. It does not necessarily describe the curriculum in 4 different language skills. What they do is they organize the curriculum in thematic units that in a way resemble the Spanish official curriculum. And around those big topics, the experts decided to develop language objectives that will match the Spanish content. And the reason behind this is to make it more relevant and also more contextualized for students who are around 5 and 6 years of age. Another aspect that I would like to mention is that there is a lot of repetition of language objectives throughout grades K-12. As you can see in this slide, the scope and sequence ranges from a pre-A1 to an A2. It's not a very demanding curriculum, linguistically speaking. And as a matter of fact, we can find a lot of repetition. It seems that students are meant in a way to repeat the same objectives year by year in 4th grade and then in 6th grade and maybe a few years back. When they go to 7th grade, students will find that the content that they are learning is similar to perhaps 4th grade, or it could be similar to the content in grade 10. So it seems that the curriculum starts and restarts every 3 years. approximately. That is a problem because the student is not being forced to reach higher levels of proficiency. This can be understood in the context that the contact hours that each student has in the public sector is of 80 minutes per week. Also, an important key aspect to take into consideration is the lack of teachers. There aren't too many teachers in the public sector to actually cover all the different schools that we have. Another issue is the lack of proficiency that these teachers have. Most of them are teachers, as we call general teachers, in Spanish for Spanish subjects, who know or who have taken a few language courses and are qualified, officially qualified, to teach the language. Linguistically speaking, they hardly reach a high level in order to teach the language. Many teachers in the public sector also have or range between an A1 and an A2 from the Common European Framework of Reference. So taking all these things into account, we can see that the Ministry of Education and the Paraguayan government have made a very big and important decision to include English language teaching in the official curriculum and in the public sector. This is something that can and has to be celebrated as a very positive move. However, the lack of infrastructure, the lack of training, and the lack of teachers are affecting the successful implementation of this program. There might be slight changes or important changes depending on where specifically we are trying to improve in the curriculum that needs to be taken into consideration. However, I personally celebrate the fact that there are different initiatives to include English. Another aspect that I need to address is that the implementation of the official curriculums in kindergarten through grade 9 are not being done through in all the different parts of the country. This takes me to explain how different the curriculum, the official curriculum, is from the curriculum from the private sector. English is taught in many private schools in Paraguay with different degrees of complexity and different approaches. Some schools are considered bilingual and others are just others just implement English as a second language or as a foreign language and also have 80 minutes per week or maybe a little bit more. Some private schools follow the official curriculum and others have their own curriculum. Those that follow the official curriculum mainly implement English in secondary school, also known as grades 7 through 12. Private schools with a strong English as a foreign language or English as an additional language program can reach up to a C1 or C2 level of proficiency, and all of these levels are generally validated by international exams. Obviously, all the better trained teachers with better proficiency and better teaching methods are hired by the private sector. Although it's important to mention that not all of these teachers have official qualifications to teach. And this is a difference between the official or the public school teachers versus the private school teachers. Many public school teachers do have the official qualifications to teach at a certain grade level, but they lack proficiency. On the other hand, you could find teachers in the private sector who are very skilled language-wise and who manage a wide and interesting variety of teaching methods and who are very, very efficient teachers, but don't have the official qualifications to teach because they could have studied abroad or because they could have done different courses that are not necessarily validated by the Ministry of Education and therefore don't have their teaching license. What actions can be taken to improve the learning experiences and language proficiency of our students? Taking all of these points that I mentioned, I conclude that the key is in more teacher training. Teachers need to be better trained, not only in their language development, their use of the language, especially if we're talking about public school teachers, but also they need to be trained in teaching methods, language teaching methods. Something that I celebrate and I would recommend is that the Ministry of Education can continue with this strategy of gradual implementation of the EFL or EAL program throughout the country for grades K through 9. Why? Because, as I mentioned earlier, there is a lack of teachers and better and well-trained teachers. That's why I'm totally in sync with this strategy that the ministry has implemented since 2016. Another important aspect that can help improve the learning experiences and language proficiency of students and also their teachers is the introduction, development, and fostering of teacher associations in the country. Paratisol is a language teacher association with more than 30 years of experience in the country. However, we have not been able to reach different teachers throughout the country. We have been doing a lot of initiatives to reach them, but I do believe that the development of teacher associations such as this one will help teachers become better professionals, and it will help teachers serve their students better. With this, I would like to conclude my presentation, and I would like to thank all of you for your active listening, and I look forward to being able to discuss more of these things, more of these topics with you. Thank you.